Why are you interested in justice? What are the roots of this in your own life? Where's this coming from?
Well, actually, my own story is when I was in Westhopewell Presbyterian Church in the late 70s, I thought I would do a doctor of ministry. Because being a Presbyterian, I felt all Presbyterian ministers wish they were doctors. So you just need to know that. So the joke, of course, is that 50% of all Presbyterian ministers are doctors, and the other 50% are working on it. They're figuring it out.
Very good.
I went to Westminster Seminary. My advisors there, I had originally said to them, maybe I'll do something on elder training. And I remember George Fuller, who was the president of Westminster at the time, and was an advisor of mine, said, do deacons. He says, everybody does elders. He says, everybody's neglecting the diaconate. And he gave me a book called Service in Christ, edited by James McCord. It was not a particularly evangelical book. It was just a series of learned essays on diaconia, which was the church's deed ministry through the years, and also told me quite a bit about the diaconate, especially as it developed in the continental churches in the Netherlands and other places like that, and it fascinated me. So I did my whole Doctor of Ministry program on how to train deacons to make them into ministers of mercy and not just janitors and treasurers. In Presbyterian churches, deacons tend to be just the people who fix up the building. But originally in Presbyterian ecclesiology, the deacons were people who cared for the poor. And so that's where actually my interest started, because I did my whole Doctor of Ministry on that, and I found there are rich resources in traditional Reformed theology for what was called the ministry of mercy, caring for the poor. And that's where it started.
Yeah. Do you see that book on mercy ministry fitting together with generous justice as a primer or as a step one, step two, or as an early understanding of your theology in this area, and now this is the more mature version? Or are these books really separate reads?
No, they complement each other. There's one chapter in the Ministry of Mercy book that I talk about justice, but I don't really develop it. And so you might say this is more of a development of it.
I see. Okay.
However, the Ministry of Mercy book the last half is extremely practical. And actually, in some ways, it still wouldn't be a bad book to read as a follow-up to the Justice book. Because my Justice book had to be a little more broad brush. There was so much to say. And in the end, I didn't really get down to brass tacks. Well, what would you do right now in your little church in your town? So they would supplement each other. There'll be a treatment of the Good Samaritan parable. I give an extended treatment in both books, so there'd be some overlap. And you're going to see a person who is 25 years younger, and it might be interesting to compare them. But apart from that, they actually complement each other.
They do. All right.